welcome along to today's live video. I have been messing about with the lighting in here to try and make today's tutorial a bit easier to see, and it is now so bright I feel like I'm being blasted. So apologies if it's very overexposed, but hi! Welcome along everyone. Who have we got? We've got Therese and Christina. Hi, good morning. Hi Michelle. Well, good afternoon if you're in the UK, good morning if you're in the US and other places. Today we were gonna do a drawing tutorial. It's literally so bright. I can barely see the phone. Maybe if I sit back a bit. We won't have this set up again tomorrow. We're gonna do a tutorial showing you how to blend your colouring pencils. So this is something that came up at the tail end of yesterday's tutorial, and somebody had asked about blending pens, and I was like, yes, I have some, and let's show you how to do it. So instead of just showing you blending pens, I'm gonna show you a few different ways to blend your colouring pencils. So I'm going to run through them just now and hold them up to the camera. They will be upside down, back to front. No, let's wait. I'll flip the camera and show you them so you can see the labels. Otherwise, it's just me showing you something back to front, which, as fun as it is for me, probably isn't much use to you guys. Excuse me. Hi, Jessica. Hi. So hopefully this will be useful to you. It would be interesting to know how... Oh, Jenny says, hope your haggis was good. Yeah, I liked it. Kids, not so much. I love haggis. It would be helpful to know, how do you currently blend your colouring pencils? What methods do you use? Because I'll have a wee look through at the end and see what you've all said. And if there's things that are popping up that I don't cover here, I can definitely do another video. I'll probably have to research. I'm always learning from you guys. So if anyone has got a blending method that I don't mention, or a favourite one, write a wee comment and we can either do more about it or I will research and tell you about it another day. So enough waffle, let's get going. I'm going to flip the camera because I'm actually blinded and we can get going with this. Right. So, I'm not even sure if that is better today. What I've done is, I've got, I wanted to show you an example on actual colouring book paper. Excuse me, so sorry, I've got something stuck in my throat. So this is just the colour palette test page out the back of the Christmas book, as you can see up there. Felt kind of pointless me showing you a blending tutorial on a piece of like white office paper because that's not realistic to what you're going to be using. So we're going to cover... Well, first off, I'm going to be using, to keep things simple, just two colouring pencils. It's just like a pink purple and a purple. And these are, of course, Faber-Castell Polychromos, just because I had them to hand. But those are the two pencils. So each of these wee circles will blend them so you can see. We're going to be using a blending pencil. So this is the Prismacolor blending pencil. I'm going to show you how I blend using just a white colouring pencil. So this is the white polychromo. I'm going to show you how to use blending solution. I like Zest It because it's meant to not be as bad for you as like some of the really chemically ones. It comes like this. I prefer it in the sponge. So you basically have the wee pot and you pour a wee bit in here and then you use your blending stump, which I'll speak about more, and pop it in there as opposed to dipping it into the bottle like that. Oh, it smells. And then I'm going to show you as well baby oil, an oldie but a goodie. And last but not least, blending pens. I don't know if that is better in terms of lighting. Anyway, let's get going. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to zoom in, get us all set up. Bear with me, folks. Let me see if I can just get this in here. Right, so let me start off with this one. I am going to... I've drawn these circles more as a guide for me than anything else. Put my darker colour on first. I'm not even caring about properly colouring those lines. And I'm just going to do harder pressure here, going to a wee bit lighter on this end. So first off, let's consider this like the test. So this is blending colouring pencils without anything, just pencil on pencil. Make sure when you're shading and colouring that you always go in the same direction, so we're not going or like that way for this and then this way for this. Everything should be smooth and flowing. So I'm doing the opposite. Whereas I pressed hard on this side and came lighter into the middle, we're pressing hard down here and releasing the pressure as we go over that other purple. So if you use no other forms of blending, you can just do dry pencil on dry pencil, and that's kind of how it looks. No fancy stuff, just pencil on pencil. So consider this our test. Or control, that's what I'm looking for. You know, when you're doing like an experiment, you need a control and then you do all the fancy stuff. So if you've got nothing else going on, you're on the road, you've not got 2 tons of art supplies, you can blend a pencil on a pencil just like that. And then I think it's, personally, I like to do building up of light layers. So don't go in and try and do it all in a 1 hour. Build your colour up layer on layer. It's better to do 3 gentle layers as opposed to going in too hard and trying to get it done in a 1 hour, and it just, yeah, doesn't work. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. That is our control. Next up. Oh, my pencil's running away. Just check them in frame. This is what it looks like if you use a blending pencil. So we'll do the same thing, darker up here, getting a bit lighter to practically nothing. And the opposite here. So I think you'll inevitably find a favourite method of blending colours. Spoiler alert, mine is the blender pen. I think it's the easiest to use. It feels the safest. Blending solution is just smelly stuff. Some of them are really strongly solvent based. Ugh, who needs to be sniffing that stuff in? Especially just now when we're all worried about our health. Don't be sniffing in solvents, obviously, anytime. But now in particular. So this is the blender pencil. It's loads of different ones you get. This one is a Prismacolor colourless blender. Top tip, get a bit of scrap paper, scribble on it before you begin, because if there is any colour residue left on the nib, on the tip, like there is there, look, it is going to contaminate what you're about to do. Second top tip with a blender pencil, hold it in the palm of your hand for a wee minute and kind of heat it up. You want it a little bit smooshy. Imagine if you have a really cold eyeliner pencil, it kind of just drags on your eyelid, doesn't it? If it's a bit warmer, I feel it works better. So there we go. And then you just use it as you would a normal pencil and colour over the top. And what it does is sort of smooshes all the colour around, helps blend in. It's like having 2 tones of eyeshadow on and then having a little dab of Vaseline on your finger and smudging them together. So it just makes them that little bit more smooshable. I was trying to think of like an actual word. Just makes them that little bit more smooshable and easier to, it softens them. That's what it does. It sort of softens them and allows you to pull the colour around. And it also kind of flattens it out a little bit as well, I would say. A bit like an Instagram filter, you know, when it just sort of smooths out the surface of your skin. Oh, right, there we go. So that's number 2, blending pencil. Do you know what? I'm going to do like a close-up after where you can see them all. Next, I'm going to show you a little trick. Have I done enough circles? 1, 2, oh yeah, it should be okay. Next I'm going to show you, I've done this the wrong way around. Let's keep it consistent so that we can actually compare. I'm going to show you how to blend using a similar technique, but using a white coloured pencil. So I often find you can just use a lighter colour from the set that you're using, and it will act as a blender pencil. I guess if you had a white wax-based pencil, for example, a white Prismacolor, it would be a fine blender for some Staedtler Ergo Softs. But equally, I've often just used a lighter shade of whatever set I'm using. Like if I'm doing like if I'm blending 2 shades of green Ergo Soft, just use the paler of the 2 greens to be your blender pencil. It doesn't work as well as having a blender pencil, like an actual blender, but it does the same sort of idea. These look like little planets, don't they? Okay, so using your white pencil, this isn't very white, is it? It's kind of like a creamy white, but the same idea. So this is just the white polychromo. Make sure there's no contamination on the lead. Oh, it really is creamy white. I think that's going to really affect the colour, but never mind. We'll heat it up a little bit. And then we'll just go over these colours. So I can see it lightening and smoothing out those 2 shades. It obviously doesn't work if you use a darker shade. It has to be white or lighter. But you know, it would do the trick. If you were on the road or on vacation and you desperately wanted to do some blending, didn't have a blending pencil or anything else, you could definitely do this. Okay, right, let me just show you a wee closer up of what we've done so far. Oh, excuse me, I'm not seeing all your comments while I'm colouring, so please don't think I'm being rude. I'm just, I can't do that chameleon thing. Looking at one place and then the other. Right, next up, let's do baby oil, because it is the most likely to be a bit messy and I'm quite keen to give it a bit of time to dry. So we'll get our first colour down. So this kind of tutorial is either going to be right up your street and you're like, yes, I love this, get my colouring geek on, tell me more about these pens and pencils and all the different techniques, or you're going to be like, holy moly, this is so boring, what is going on with my life? She's not even doing a pretty picture. So, you know, if you're in camp 2 and this isn't really your cup of tea, we'll go back to doing normal colouring, or like colouring a big picture where you can sort of see something more visual taking shape in another video. But for today, I wanted to concentrate on technique and also give you guys some practical, tactical tips on art supplies. One of Evie's friend's mums, yeah, that makes sense, messaged me last night asking for some advice on art supplies, and honest to goodness, I like spammed her for about 20 minutes with different links and tips and things that I was thinking about, and all she'd asked was for like a really generic question, but it's just like, oh yeah, this is my thing. Right, so with baby oil, I open it, pour a little bit onto the lid. I'm going to do that off camera because I will absolutely guaranteed spill it on the picture. Spilled it on my hand. I knew that would happen. Just wiping it into my jeans. Oh, it smells so nice. It just smells like babies. Right, and then I'm using a cotton bud or a Q-tip if you're in the US, and this is really gunky. Where are we? I just dip it in here, twizzle it about a little bit so that you've got some on the end. You don't want loads. And then just really gently go over the top like this. Now, I often find that it makes the paper translucent and you get a wee bit of a halo effect and you're like, ah! Usually, I've always found that it dries back to normal and sort of stops being see-through. So it looks a little bit like tracing paper for a while. Definitely give it a go in the colour palette test page of your book if you're worried. So as you can see, this is like a much wetter blender and there's less gradient, oh, I don't know. It sort of just evens the colour out much more. So you have more of like a one colour shade. Oh dear, we've frozen. Let me see if that picks up again. Has it frozen for you? My feed is just frozen here. Hold on. Has it frozen? Maybe not. No one else is saying it's frozen. That's helpful. Hold on, I'm going to refresh my screen on this side. I think we're all right. Okay, so that was the baby oil. I've literally got baby oil. I don't even have a tissue in my pocket, all over my desk. Next, we are going to do blending solution. So let me just quickly get our colour down. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. On the laptop, it had frozen, but I could still see your comments ticking away. I wonder if it was our Wi-Fi here. I would like to be able to see more of your comments. Hold on, where do we... There we go, back again. What was I saying? Can't remember. Anyway, I'm the person in the group chat that if you have a question about art supplies or pens that you can ask. If it's something like medical advice, no. Parenting, no. What's going on in the school class? Don't know. How to log on to online assembly? No idea. But if you want to know what kind of pen to use on your chalkboard or to write on the labels of your plant pot holder things, I'm your girl. Oh. Right. So this time we are going to do the blending solution. So Zest It is made with an extra, it says, for use with Zest It, or for use to blend coloured pencils, wax pencils, and oiled pastels. Now, I don't know why they've singled out wax pencils as different to coloured pencils, but there you go. I'm going to need to sharpen this pencil before our final little disc there. Let me just give this a sharpen. Okay, so I haven't used my Zest It sponge for a while, so I'm going to open it up and add a little bit more into the... I'm going to move that just in case after my baby oil incident. Oh, take this off. Oh, it smells so orangey. Just put a wee bit into the sponge like that. Pop this lid back on. Whew. It smells like Christmas candies, I think. So, a blending stump is basically a compressed pencil made entirely of cardboard, so it's not got a lid or anything. It's just like this pencil shaped stylus, I guess. It's got a point on each end, or at least these ones do, and you use it for dipping in your blending solution and then blending. So what we essentially used the Q-tip for last time. So as you can see, I've just poked that into the sponge. You get a wee bit on the end there, but not loads. And then that is what you use to blend. You get really fine blending stumps. You also get massive big ones, so that you can tailor the size of the blending stump to the piece that you're working on. Once you've used it, the tip becomes contaminated with the colour that you've been using. So after we finish this, I'll show you, but the tip will be also a pinky purple. To clean it off, and you must clean it off before you go on to a new colour, I just get a bit of sandpaper or a nail emery board and sand down the tip. You can't put these, or at least I've never been able to, put them in a pencil sharpener and just sharpen it like a pencil. You really do have to sand down the tip, which sounds totally industrial and like it'd be a complete and utter faff. It's really easy. You just put the sandpaper on the table and then drag it down, and it just takes off that bit there. But it is effective. I mean, look at that. I need to put this lid back on because the smell's so strong. I'm frightened that I'm gonna sniff it in too much. So there we go. That's the blending solution. Right, last up, let's do this. We are gonna do my favorite, the blending pen. So the blending pen is like a felt tip marker that has blending solution inside it. So completely portable. You can chuck it in your pencil case, take it on vacation, take it on an aeroplane. Remember those? Remember when we used to go on flights? But you can take it on there, and you can do blending without any massive stinky smell. So I can still smell that Zest It Blending solution really strongly. And I think if you've used it, your paper is going to sort of have a residual whiff of it for a long time to come. I've seen videos online where people are using things like, we call it terps, turpentine, like white spirit, paintbrush cleaner, solvents to blend their colouring pencils. Guys, I would just stay well clear of that kind of stuff. You don't want to be messing about with solvents like that. It's not good for your lungs. It's totally flammable. If you've got kids around, it's just a disaster. So I just wouldn't even get involved in that carry on, especially when there's so many safer, easier to use alternatives. Why bother? It's like people that insist on sharpening their knives with a Stanley knife and a blade. Like, I get it sometimes, but in general, use a pencil sharpener. We have that technology. It's safer and easier. So here is our final wee circle, and then I'll show you the blending pens in just a second. I got everything that you've seen actually from Amazon, except the baby oil. I think I just got that from Tesco. Zest It Blending solution, I think people struggle to get in the US. I just got it on Amazon. I think there's an alternative. I remember looking into this a while ago. Somebody'll remember. Check the comments. Blender pens. Oh, it's frozen again for me. Anyway, never mind, I'll just keep going. These are the blender pens. I got mine from Amazon. You get two. A thick one and a thinner one. 4mm and 2. I always just use this one. I feel like I just have a pencil case of doom that has all these ones. Here's what it looks like. Can you see that? Just had a wee sniff of that. If you are using it for the second time, give it a wee scribble on a piece of blank paper just in case you've got any contamination of colour. And let me just check where... This is all you do, folks. So this is quite a large area to blend, so actually maybe we should have used the bigger one. But I tend to work quite small and intricate and detailed, so for me the smaller one is my go-to, but it's just so handy. It smooths out all the colour. It's super easy to hold and wield or yield, whatever that word might be. You know when you're using the cotton bud, it's just a little bit clunky. It's not an ideal tool for colouring. This is a pen. It's just fab. Smooths everything out, smooshes it together. Let me grab the bigger one. This is a debut for me. I should have just used the bigger one in the first place. There you go. Again, you might get a little bit of haze. Look, see, oh, look at that. Now, if you didn't clean that off, it would contaminate your next colour. So you don't need to do it immediately, but just make sure you are aware that you're going to have a bit of colour on that nib. Let me quickly show you the back. So you can see a little, where am I, halo of where the blending, so one of these is the baby oil and the other one, this is the baby oil. And this is blending pen, so you can see a little bit. If you were doing this in a colouring book with artwork on the other side, please, please, please try a little bit at the back and see if you're going to have that issue. I usually find that this dries out just normal, but check. There you go. I'll take a photo of this and post it, and I'll also remind you, I'll write underneath what each one was, but this was just our test, colouring pencil only. This was using a blender pencil. This was using the white as a blender pencil. This was baby oil. This was Zest It Blending solution. And this was the Derwent blending pen. Whew. Right. Let me just have a wee peek. Melena says, I find the blending pen can be streaky. Do you know, I don't think I've ever had that particular issue. Oh my word, we're back in the brightness of the sun. I've never found it streaky. I wonder if it's the way you're putting down the colouring pencil to start with. Might be. Or it could be the paper that you're using. I feel like this would be what it would be like to be in a sunbed, like in the 90s, just poo, poo, poo. Blending pen wins for me, says Leslie. Great. Oh, Dominique likes Zest It. Well, I hope that was helpful, folks. I'm just having a quick look at some of the comments. I will go back through. I'm really bad for not replying to comments on live, just because the time that we do them on, I now literally pack the studio away, dash home, sort out the kids, get everyone ready for bed, tidy up the house, and like that. Oh, and don't always manage to hop on and read the comments, but I do check them. So I will. Oh, did Emily just say Karen Dash have a blender pencil? Oh, yeah, but how much does it cost? Is it like like £30 for a blender pencil? I will have a little look and test it on our behalf, on the community's behalf. I'll take one for the team and test it out. My desk is just covered in baby oil. I'm so glad I didn't try and open that on camera, because it would have just gone everywhere. Thank you so much for your lovely comments. I'm really glad loads of you have found that helpful. I'm just sort of like trying not to be too distracted, but I'm really glad that that was helpful. We can maybe do a few other super geeky tutorials like that another day. I'll have a wee think. And also, if there's anything else that you are desperate to know about or want me to try out, pop it in a comment here and I'll definitely take a look and we'll see what we can do. Oh, right. Gosh, that's been a long video. It's 4:30. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined in. Enjoy your colouring. Have a little go at doing some blending. If you're only going to try one of those things, obviously try blending without anything as your starting point. This really is my top tip. I think these blender pens are great. These are messy and smelly. Blender pencil, also good. And a white pencil is a good worst case scenario kind of situation. All right, thank you ever so much. Take care, have fun. We'll be back tomorrow. I did say that we were going to do drawing today, but I got caught up in this idea and then abandoned that plan. So let's do drawing tomorrow. Have a lovely day. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye. Oh, before I forget, I sent out an Inky email. My newsletter, Inky email newsletter, went out this morning with like some really good stuff in it. If you aren't signed up already, go to my website, put in your details, unsubscribe anytime. But I mean, why would you? It's so good. They're once in a blue moon, but they're always joyful. So well worth a subscribe. well worth a subscribe is what I say. Right, I'm gonna go. It's the heat and the light. Bye bye.